back in the JMFPSP Sports program on VWC Internet Media, and we're moving on to the Bulls and Heat series. Maybe one that's turning out to be a classic series, or one that the Heat will now take advantage from this point on. But it's tied 1-1, heading back to South Beach.
We got a game on Sunday.
Hopefully.
Assuming we have Sunday.
Hopefully.
Yeah, assuming.
We keep going over that.
Yep. The Heat took the last game with a great 13-point performance by Udonis Haslem.
Yeah.
He really took it away from the Bulls and quieted the Madhouse on Madison, whose theme song is Chelsea Dagger that we just played.
I think the Madhouse on Madison sign only should be there when the Blackhawks are playing.
Yeah.
Like when the Bulls are there, just shut it off. Like it just...
Or just like lower it from the ceiling.
The energy in the United Center is not the same when the Bulls are playing.
Yeah.
When the Hawks are there, it's unbelievable. Mm-hmm. It's like a college atmosphere because all the alcoholics go to hockey games. But the Bulls, it's the NBA. It's a party league, number one, at least for the players. Yeah. But it's a rich people's league for the people that go there. Everyone there is, drinking martinis, and they're wearing ties. Very
right. My dad had a friend who went to the last game, and he sat down in like the executive level, where everyone's sitting in suits, very, very straightforward. Like
everyone I know that goes to Bulls games is a businessman.
A businessman.
Like it's the successful businessman's sport, at least to go and watch.
Right. And you might have a few real fans up in the third level.
Yeah, there are crazy people in the nosebleeds. We know that. But it's not the same as a Blackhawks game. So that Madhouse on Madison thing, not buying as far as Bulls games are concerned.
And especially when the Heat build like a 13-point lead, then it was pretty death silent in there.
Yeah. The shithouse on Madison.
Yeah.
Just alternate nickname suggestions.
The morgue on Madison.
The morgue on Madison. That actually rolls off the tongue a bit better. Yeah. Because shithouse is kind of rude.
Well, be a good headline for the Bulls, start sucking,
Shithouse.
That'll
be great. And all of a sudden, all of our parents are going to be so proud when they listen to this one.
Yeah.
Okay. So I want to go first this time.
All right.
I can't remember what I was going to say, but I'm going to go first. What was I going to say? Oh, you go first. Go ahead.
Well, okay. What am I supposed to say here?
We're supposed to talk.
This is a great series. There's a ton to talk
I remember. I remember what I'm going to say.
You want to go?
Okay. Can we all say that we saw this thing coming?
I did.
When we broke it down on Saturday?
Yeah.
That we nailed games 1 and 2. All three of us did. Bulls took game 1. Why? Because the United Center was full of energy, and LeBron and Dwayne Wade clearly did not react well to starting off a series on the road.
Yeah.
Agreed?
Definitely.
And the Heat won game 2 because ultimately they're just better, and the Bulls cannot score the points to beat the Heat because the Bulls' offense. I made the comparison. The 2000 Ravens is who the Chicago Bulls are.
Defense.
Unbelievable defense, but Trent Dilfer is your quarterback. And what I said, but Ryan, the Ravens won a championship. I know, it's a metaphor. Get over it.
No, I don't want. No,
or a team that didn't win the championship, the 2008 Ravens. Great, unbelievable defense, but Joe Flacco, as a rookie, throws a couple interceptions in the championship game, and that's the end of it. And I'm not saying Derrick Rose is going to collapse in a championship scenario because he's the MVP of the league. It's a little bit different.
But he's got LeBron James on him and stuff.
LeBron James was phenomenal in game 2. Scored the last 6 or 8 points of the game, or 10 points or whatever.
And people say you can't overtake games.
And defended Derrick Rose on the other side of the court.
Yeah.
So he's defending Derrick Rose. He's making all the shots. Closer, in the full sense of the word.
And that was with a cold, too, he says.
He put the game away. And now you're going back to Miami, where the Heat haven't lost a game yet in this postseason.
Yeah.
It's going to get ugly. The Heat are going to win the next 2 games. I think they're going to blow the Bulls out in at least one of them, if not both of them. I don't think the Bulls have. I'm not going to say the series is over because that'd be stupid. It's tied at 1. But at the same time, like I said with Dallas and Oklahoma City, it's tied at 1, and you literally feel like it's tied at 1. I don't know who's going to win, Oklahoma City or Dallas. I can't tell which team's going to win, but I know it's going to be fun to watch. This, you kind of get the sense Miami's going to start to take control of the series just because they have more talent. It's that yin and yang. The yin is the athletes of Miami. The yang is the Bulls' great defenders. And Miami's athletes can score. And that's where the Bulls are going to lose track. Corey?
Yeah, I mean, especially too if they go up 3-1 on the Bulls, I don't know if they can actually win Game 5. I mean, maybe. But going up 3-1, I think that he would definitely close them out because the Bulls are just too young. They don't have the talent. They don't have. I mean, the Heat are clearly better, like we've said. LeBron James is going to take over games as usual, and people say he can't do it. Well, this is a good example for people who think. Yeah, I hate it too. I mean,
LeBron's not a closer.
LeBron choked in Cleveland. You know, it's a joke. He didn't have any talent in Cleveland. We made the comparison that the Bulls are pretty much the Cavaliers.
They are. They're totally.
I
in
think
the conference finals against a superior team, and all of a sudden they look like they're
bad.
In trouble.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing.
Because you have one guy running the team, and that being this year in Derrick Rose. Yes, he's the MVP, but so was LeBron during the last 2 years. So, you know, it's pretty much, you know, you're not going to be able to win unless if you get another superstar. We've talked about Dwight Howard. Is there anyone else in free agency they could go get?
I don't know.
I mean, that's the thing. You don't really know. And
draft someone.
You
Kemba
could.
Walker.
They
Kemba
have
Walker's
like,
too short.
but they do have the last pick though. It's the thing.
That's true. Kemba Walker's too short.
You have to trade up for a lot.
He's lucky if they say he's 6 feet tall.
Yeah, he is.
He's really 5'11", but they call him 6 foot. I've heard that he's shorter than that, and he can't shoot very well. So he wouldn't be an option, and Kemba Walker's going to be taken in the top 10.
This draft class is really just terrible in mine, though.
I said it in as soon as the college basketball season, the regular season ended. I was like, this is the worst NBA draft.
It really is.
There is such a lack of talent in college basketball. It's pathetic.
When your number one pick supposedly is going to be a guy who played 11 games.
8 games plus the NCAA tournament.
I mean, and it was injured the whole time. It's like... Then you have Derek Williams, who did show up and is really a beast, but you're never going to know anyway. I mean...
He should be good. He should be a good pro.
So.
He's not going to be, LeBron or...
No.
He's not a stud. Fantastic role player.
He'll be a great role player and starter.
A starter.
Okay, let's get back on track with the Bulls and Heat now.
Yeah, you keep the focus. But an interesting thing to me with this series is that the Bulls have been here before. Hey, they were in this before, remember, against the Hawks, which it's a different team.
Oh yeah, definitely.
They've been in this situation. Perhaps they're a pressure team.
Maybe
one that performs better when the series is tied.
Sorry, I stopped listening when you said Atlanta Hawks.
Because the Atlanta Hawks are...
They almost blew it against the Pacers at the beginning of the series, too.
Yeah, but that's because the Pacers knew how to stop Derrick Rose at least most of the time, and they played better basketball than the Bulls were in most games, just
Pacers
at the
won
end.
37 games. The Hawks were the most inconsistent team in the league this year, except for,
They always have been.
Actually, the shitty teams were consistently bad, so this is the most inconsistent team in the NBA. Sometimes they look like they could beat Boston or Miami.
Yeah.
And sometimes,
Because I guess you consider Joe Johnson as a superstar, maybe, but he is a great player. But otherwise, I mean, Jamal Crawford's a good 6-man, and then Josh Smith is okay. Yeah. So I mean, really, that team is basically the Bulls a little bit.
Extremely inconsistent. They have more scoring than the Bulls did. That's why I picked them to win the series in 6 or 7, whatever. That was stupid. That was just in spite of because the obsession with how good the Bulls were at that time really pissed me off. But that's a completely different topic as well.
I guess the thing is,
you can't compare those other series. Like you just can't. Miami is such a different animal. Mm-hmm. When you've got LeBron and D Wade, they're the 2 best players in the league right now.
Maybe probably the world too, in my mind.
The NBA is the world.
Yeah.
Like everybody, if you're not playing in the NBA, you're not good. And you're not, obviously good on a level that anybody in the NBA would be.
Yeah.
But so anyway, LeBron and D Wade are the best players in the league because Kobe is old and Kobe is done being the best player in the NBA. He was for a really long time. He's probably one of the 10 best players ever, but he's not in the stratosphere of the right now.
Yeah.
So LeBron and D Wade are the 2 best players in the league. Derrick Rose, in my opinion, he wouldn't even crack my top 5. And
it's fair enough, though.
Well, I mean, there are so many great players ahead of him that have been in the league longer. And when you've only got one guy, he's the MVP, you've got nothing around him, and you've got these 2 great players, and their role players are pretty good now. James Jones won the 3-point contest for a reason, so Jonas Ilgauskas, I can say his name now, which I'm happy about. So Jonas Ilgauskas can make plays for you.
Once in a
not
while,
all the time. And if Haslam can massage his thighs enough to stop being sore from this is the most minutes he's played with the Heat this season.
Yeah.
It was in that game. So assuming, because he said he was sore the next day from playing that much. So assuming he can, because he really doesn't have his sea legs, if you will, right now, because he's been out for so long.
Yeah.
But I figure if he can at least give you a semblance of what he did, at least stand there with your arms up.
Yeah.
To be some kind of a defensive rebounding presence. I think he can be that for them.
Yeah.
And you've also got Mike Miller. Yeah, Mike Miller. I keep wanting to say Matt Miller, but that's no one. But Mike Miller's a really good shooter as well. Your Bibby, the starting point guard, isn't a starting point guard. He's old and slow and wants to shoot all the time.
He seems like a real liability.
Yeah, he is. So I would rather want to see Mario Chalmers out there.
Yeah.
The
He'll make plays once in a while. I mean,
as long as the big three kick ass, which I'm pretty sure they will, the Bulls won't win this series.
No.
And I think the Heat are going to win the next 2 home games.
Well,
Bulls will win Game 5 because they're at home, and Derrick Rose is going to have. Eventually, you figure Derrick Rose is going to score like 45 points and just go off at some point because it's a championship scenario, and you figure your great player is going to be great at least 1 or 2 times. And then back down to Miami for Game 6, and that'll be the end of it.
Yeah, I want to add something quickly too.
Sure.
Game 1, I don't remember how many second chance points the Bulls got, but they got a shitload. So I think that's the one way they're gonna have to win this: get as many offensive rebounds as they can. And they got a lot in Game 2. They just couldn't put it back in the hoop because. Yeah, the bucket, whatever you want to call it. There's a lot of terms to use it to. And either way, they can't score like we said. I mean, you're going to have sometimes where Will Dang will be the second guy, but he only comes once in a short while. So you have to get as many second chance points as you can by rebounding as shit, which they can usually do. I mean, Joakim Noah's not the offensive presence you really want, but he's a good rebounding presence.
Right.
I mean, if he can put the ball back up quick enough and get it in, then they'll win at least another game. But you have to rebound like he did. You have to get as many second chance points as you can because we all know they're not going to hit him the first time unless Derrick Rose takes it. And even then, he's going to miss shots too. So that's the one thing that could really crush the Heat if they can use it to their advantage. But in that other respect, though, is that you have to guard the big three. They're going to score pretty much every time they go and drive. And don't let them go on transition either because that's where they play their best. They play good half-court basketball, but you get LeBron D-Wade in transition, it's over. It's over. I don't care if you have Derrick Rose back there trying to guard them or not. I mean, the MVP, but they're going to crush you every time. The stuff they can do, I mean, even full court, just passing it back to each other, I feel like they could play like that a lot and they'd be able to get things done. But after a while, I mean, teams would hopefully catch up on it. Yeah. That's what I think.
Okay, this comes down to 3 things. The Bulls, I'll give them, they're a way better rebounding team than the Heat are. Like, it's not even funny. The Bulls can out-rebound any team in the league by, plus 6 or 7.
Yeah.
The Heat they're equals defensively, not
they really
rebounding. And the Heat they have 3 legitimate scoring options, and your role players play big at home. That's why Taj Gibson played great in the United Center. He's not going to play great in Miami. That's why James Jones didn't play great in the United Center. Is going to play brilliantly in Miami, you would think. That's why Ilgauskas is going to be a bigger presence in the next couple games because the role players play better at home. That's what role players are for. Role players are to play big at home. And the Bulls cannot score the points.
Yeah.
So you figure you might be able to out-rebound them. You're not going to out-shoot them. And they can defend you just as well as you can defend them.
Yeah.
So it's going to come down to another close game due to all of that. Because ultimately defense and rebounding sometimes is more important than scoring.
Yeah, it is.
But eventually it all evens out, and D-Wade and LeBron will hit a couple big shots at the end, and that's it. That's just how this works.
Wonder who the big talk of the next game will be. It was Gibson in Game 1, and then Haslam.
Where did that big talk take place?
No.
I'm not impressed with Taj Gibson playing well.
Yeah, but the big plays.
Have you seen the stories about his life recently?
No.
Some stuff.
6 or 7 of his friends died.
Yeah.
Instantly. I don't think it was that many. I think it was 3 or 4.
Really close friends.
3 or 4 really close friends died in gunfights and cancer, and it's just nasty. And you're sorry to see that, but that doesn't make him a superstar in the NBA.
No.
I mean, and it's a nice story that he had those 2 crazy dunks in Game 1.
Yeah,
right.
That's cute. But at the end of the day, he's not gonna. He doesn't mean much.
I mean, he's only been in the league. This is his second year in the league, so you
Right.
have to cut him a little slack. But not. I mean, I'm not saying you have to go total. Never mind.
Well,
He's not your second superstar.
No, he's
by
not.
any stretch of the. I would like to see him developed into that.
That'd be great.
He might be that kind of a talent, maybe. I don't know. I'm making suggestions, right? And he's a bigger guy.
Maybe.
So you talk about he could be your Durant, and not in levels of greatness, but he could be your Durant as in your tall, big scorer. and Rose could go back to more of a distributor role like he did at the University of Memphis.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he was better at distributing than he was scoring when he played in college.
Yeah.
But then again, that was 1 year in Calipari's offense, and Calipari's offense is kind of crazy. So at the end of the day, the Bulls don't have the. I keep saying the same stuff because the same stuff is still true.
But people just don't want to believe it. It amazes me.
Like I was listening to local radio on Thursday, and it was after game 2, and they gave all the other numbers, and the Bulls only shot 37% from the floor. They were terrible. Mm-hmm. The Bulls shot horribly, and they were like, "That's not how the Bulls shoot." And I'm just like, "Yeah, it is." That's about all they can muster up against a great defense when Derrick Rose isn't playing well. Because Derrick Rose was horrible.
Yeah.
He was missing layups. He missed like 5 easy layups. Mm-hmm. And that's, like I said, that's never going to happen.
You're going to have those games too, yeah.
He's not going to miss those shots again, just like LeBron and D-Wade aren't going to miss the shots that they missed in Game 1. There have been anomalies that have happened in the first 2 games that you're not going to see down in Miami. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of where we are. Does anyone want to change what they thought, Miami in 6 games?
I think that's good.
I even want to go up to 5.
I was thinking 5 or 6.
Do you think Miami could win the next 3 in a row?
Next 3 in a row? I think it's possible.
I think it's possible.
I kind of went up the ante to 5 games, but you know what? I'm just going to stick with 6 because I think back at the United Center, Derrick Rose is going to get that game 5.
I think that they can, at some point, get reignited and win at least 1.
All right, let's talk about baseball, Tim. You ready?
Oh, yeah, man. Been waiting for this. What's up next on Jim Miller Frozen Sports Program?
On BWC Internet Radio.